Follow Steve. Yeah. T-Rex gets to ride. Yeah, a little rub. Start the day on the seltzer box. T-Rex, ready to start the day? Always ready to start the day. Yeah. Tugboat going by. 77 degrees at 7:40. Future forecast says a cloud. And we've got a waxing crescent moon in the evening sky. What do we have in the morning sky? Filaments of cirrus clouds. That's the boundary between somewhat less humid air in northern New England and very sticky air. Feel of Florida out here again this morning. A barge went by, not a barge, a tanker went by this morning at about 6 a.m., but I just laid there in bed and let it go by without making a video. Shocking, huh? And there go the tugboats. Oh, we've got some golf. Is someone expecting a 2-hole par 2 golf tournament this afternoon? We're coming to town, prepping for his annual with Bob and Eric. Weir's going to be on the go today, and air conditioning inside the vehicle feels good, doesn't it? Inside the house. Now, it is less humid in far northern New England this morning. Here's the map at about 6 a.m. The dew point in Boston, 72. Dew point in Chatham, 75, if that's right. And in northern New England, we've got a few spots with a dew point of 58 to 62. So it's a little more comfortable. And it's also a very subtle boundary between the humid air that's been here and somewhat less humid air that's tried to come at us. And that subtle boundary is going to trigger some showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. So Tuesday, maybe not the pick of the week this week. I think maybe yesterday was. Boston yesterday, the high temperature at Logan Airport was 83 degrees. And at one point, it had cooled to 73 degrees with a sea breeze at 3 o'clock, while Norwood was 95. So today is day 3 of the heat wave, and it takes 3 consecutive days of 90 degrees to get you a heat wave. So Norwood, it is a heat wave today in many spots away from the shore. In Boston, we probably do hit 90 today. I'll just show you this real fast. This meteogram for 5 days. Looks less stormy tomorrow and Thursday on this Boston projection. I'm not sure I believe it, but you can see the temperature is close to 90 today and tomorrow. And then the threat of showers and thunderstorms could bring the temperature down a little bit by Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but the humidity's up. I think that one of the best ways to show what's going on here, a picture is worth 1,000 words, is from the Ocean Prediction Center. This surface map this morning, boy, there's a lot in there. On the right, what stands out, those big H's, 1024 H's, that's the subtropical ridge from Bermuda out into the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, and energy goes around that. Beryl went around the southern end of that, and now that label that says TD Beryl, 25 knots, that label is right over Florida. Try and get some perspective. Above that is the East Coast. So Beryl over Arkansas, 1,004 millibar low, and juiced up, as you know. And then right over the rest of the East Coast, there's that boundary, the red and blue line. That's a stationary front with several red L's. Those are low pressure systems with the blue H's adjacent to them on the west and north side. That's our stationary stalled front. And notice that the L's, the pressure is about 1014, 1015, very weak low pressure. And the H's are about 1015, 1016, so very little gradient across that front. But it is a boundary, and it's along that boundary that Beryl is going to join, and there is confliction in the output for precipitation with Beryl. But even separate from Beryl is an upper level low. Go back to that OPC map just for a second. If you go right behind the label that says TD Beryl, you see the little orange dashed line. That's that wild card upper level low left over from our severe storms back on Sunday, June 30th. 9 days ago, that went out into the Atlantic Ocean, circled around Bermuda, and now has retrograded all the way to the Bahamas. There it is on satellite. It doesn't show up as much, but that is a plume of deep moisture that is going to also play a role in our forecast. Even if it were separate from, even if there was no barrel, there would be heavy rain coming to New England. Start with the short term. The HRRR is much more aggressive with rainfall with barrel, but before that barrel even gets here, here's this afternoon. See a couple of speckles starting to form, and then all of a sudden you get a broken line of showers and storms from New Hampshire and Maine into northern Massachusetts, holding together maybe into Boston about 9 o'clock. So between 5 and 9, some downpours are possible. And with such rich humidity, those could add up to inches, very localized rainfall lottery. And then tomorrow, there's the plume of moisture from barrel, and that's going to be generating heavy rain across New York into Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine, and southern Canada. That's much further south than the Euro and the GFS. Global models have that rain farther north. The total QPF on that, quantitative precipitation forecast, between now and this only goes out 48 hours, and it initialized 2 a.m. today, so it goes out to 2 a.m. Thursday. And you can see some spots in there, and that mustard color of more than 5 inches of rain. And that's only going through 2 a.m. tomorrow, so there's more behind that. The Weather Prediction Center put out this graphic associated with the remnant of barrel, calling for potential flash flooding in the areas there in yellow. And you can see that we're included in that starting late tomorrow through Thursday and even into early Friday, when barrel remnant is going to be gone on Friday. So we have two things to track. How do I show this? How about if I show the Euro precipitation forecast? Yeah, on the eastern seaboard here, and you see the barrel part going across the top, and then coming up from the Bahamas, heavy rain, completely separate from barrel, from South Carolina to North Carolina to Virginia, up through New Jersey, and then cutting just across the south coast and easing out of here Friday night and Saturday. And remember, this is the same system that about 5 days ago, or 6 days ago, the Euro had printed out 5 or 6 inches for Nantucket or Martha's Vineyard. Remember that? So much going on. Barrel, this upper level low, the subtropical ridge, and the just searing heat in the west. 125 yesterday afternoon in Death Valley at the visitor center at Furnace Creek. It's appropriately named. But the dew point was only 36. The relative humidity was 5%. Ray Alba, thanks for commenting yesterday. Yeah, it's a dry heat. What would you rather be, 125 with a dew point of 5? I mean, a dew point of 35? Or Ray, this weekend, or the next couple of days in New York City, I think your dew point's going to be 75 to 80. But the temperature's only going to be about 90, which is worse. Jim Cantori summed it up kind of nicely this morning on Twitter. He said, looks like a barrel sandwich with heat on both sides and flooding in the middle. Excessive heat warnings in the west, hotter than the east. Heat advisories in effect right up into New England, including Boston today. It's going to become a little bit more windy along the south coast from the southwest, and you can already see this morning that we do have more of a gradient with the sailboats pointed towards the southwest. That's where the air is coming from. And it'll stay fairly windy from the southwest. It looks like, I'll show you one more. The Euro 240 hour going out 240 hours. I show this all the time. And you can see the two separate systems, barrel coming up into Ontario and our plume of moisture coming up the east coast. Can't really tell what's going on in New England too much. Off and on showers and downpours. And it looks like the showers in southern New England could be greatest Friday night into Saturday. There go that upper level low and energy off of Nantucket. And once again, much like what just happened, Saturday showers and thunderstorms. Sunday looks mostly dry, rain-free, but very sticky. There's nothing clearing us out. The plume of moisture and energy from barrel may be gone, but the humidity is still here, and so anything can trigger more showers and thunderstorms. Yeah, Don Peacock talked about the Bowden coming back from its Arctic voyage, and you see that 995 low going off the top of the map there, north of us next Monday, Tuesday. And finally, with some showers and thunderstorms, it looks like a good push of air coming in Wednesday, the 17th, in northern New England, Thursday, the 18th. Did I get those dates right this time? The cold front gets south of us, and cooler, drier air comes in. Although the thickness is still near 570, the temperature may still be near 90. Now we're way out to next Thursday. But the dew point's going to fall into the 40s and 50s. All right, rain gauge is kind of quiet here. Rex is just chilling. Guess that old flag can come down. And Steve, I think, is still with us somewhere. So I did a lot of thinning yesterday, a lot of thinning. And it's hard to find which one's the stem and which one's the suckers. Charlie says, I don't care about the suckers. I think I actually cut the main stem on this one by accident, left the sucker. Anyhow, just trying to make more room because I have such a small garden. And something's chomping that. I'm not that concerned. So a special guest, our piano player, Captain SpaceTime. We're going to hear a few words from Captain SpaceTime, talk about what the sky looked like yesterday. Captain SpaceTime, his real name is Nick Laudani, and he looks like Doc Emmett Brown from Back to the Future, doesn't he? Yeah, he is the mad music scientist that supplied us our piano riff that he never wrote down and he didn't memorize. He just made it up. Thanks, Nick. So we'll have a conversation with Nick. I'll put a more in-depth piece on Nick because he lives next to this monument on one of the tallest hills in Boston, Jamaica Plain, Dorchester Line, and fascinating history up there at that Fort Hill. So a little from Fort Hill yesterday, a little bit of Nick, and a little bit of our sunset in the garden. It was another gorgeous sunset, but I can't just record all of them. Got so much and more and more and more with a lot of weather and probably another 8 minutes of video, getting us to 20 minutes today. It's Tuesday, July 9th. The record high temperature in Boston today is 98 or 99 from 1988. Back to the Future. Talk to you tomorrow.
Oh yeah, the other day while having dinner there in New Jersey, a couple came up to us, didn't even know register again. It ends tonight.
More buildings.
So don't put it off.
Go on there. I backed up all the way to Williams Tunnel because Sumner is closed.
Pay it forward. If you did, 888-410-1057. Here's Robert Palmer, Addicted to Love.
Things you don't notice when you go by really fast, but how do all those cars get parked down in there? Yeah. And what's that over there? Those Seaport residents trying to go to work, or people coming in from the north? Not sure how this works. But to leave the airport, it's about 15-20 minutes to get to the Williams Tunnel. Pretty flowers, about 8:30 in the morning. On the road to find Captain SpaceTime. Nice sky for it. Almost 90 degrees already. Could have a little bubble and cumulus action this afternoon. Always gotta work outdoors. Somebody's always gotta work outdoors. On this eminence stood Roxbury High Fort, a strong earthwork planned by Henry Knox and Josiah Waters and erected by the American Army June 1775, crowning the famous Roxbury lines of investment at the Siege of Boston. It's in great shape. Those are the most well-behaved 5 dogs being walked at the same time I've ever seen. I think the birds love the fresh mowed lawn. Lots of little critters and insects.
Here I am.
Who's this dude, man? Hey, come on up, Captain SpaceTime. Trying to legalize freedom.
That's right. Do I need a permit for this? I don't know.
What's your name? Where you from?
My real name is synonym or AKA. So my name, rank and serial number is Nicholas Laudani. posing as Captain SpaceTime posing as Nick Laudani. I don't know which one is real anymore because I'm living in such an alternative universe in outer space or inner space, depending on how. But he's done this great thing on his Weather Channel where, you know, I said, you know what you need? You need some music, because music really makes a difference. And I don't know, but I think I have to say, I think it adds something to it, if I don't mind saying so. It's like wearing a little extra drapery around something that's beautiful. And wouldn't you say, Tim? It lends
a brand.
It lends a brand. And when you look at Tim's face, that's a beautiful face.
Oh, jeez.
You know what I mean? I mean, come on, that's a face that more than a mother would love.
Captain SpaceTime.
Captain SpaceTime.
Nailing it tonight.
Nailing it.
What is that huge monument behind you?
That huge monument behind me is, I like to say, or some people like to say, it's a castle. But this was a lookout tower a long time ago for in the days of the Brits. Again, this t-shirt comes to mind. When the idea that the Brits were coming and they wanted to tax, you know, imagine people now freaking out about a 2-cent tax on tea. But anyways, that's besides the point. But that's what the monument is. It's an upgrade. It was a water tower for a while, but this was a fort. This whole area was in conjunction with Dorchester Highlands. Both of these were lookout towers, and you could see the harbor from here. Hence, the back bay was filled with water. And can you imagine where now all these rich millionaires are living were British boats, you know?
Oh, right down there by the
right by Marlborough
Tower?
Street. like
Really? So the British boats were on Marlborough Street because there was water?
Because there was water, yeah.
Neat.
Yeah.
You are certainly Captain SpaceTime, taking us back almost 300 years.
That's right. I'm at Captain Spaceless Time. I want to get the bridge.
The genius can't remember the song, because he just did it in one take. Everything we do is one take and unscripted. Brilliant, mad scientist, Captain SpaceTime.
It was a close guess, anyways.
What a day. Just came back outside after editing for quite a bit. It's now 4:30. Planes are landing toward the east in Boston, where the temperature went down to 73 at 3 o'clock this afternoon when the wind was from the east. At the same time, Norwood, Massachusetts got to 95 today. And now the temperature's gonna go back up in Boston. Yeah, the sun's on the thermometer, but you get the picture. It's this kind of a evening. Live at 5 indoors. All right, let's call it a night, Rex. Come on. 7:23. And the sea breeze has seemingly died out. Sorry, Insta, but X owns space. And I love posting on X. Once in a while I come into Instagram, but I don't answer that often because I don't spend time in there. But this is what it looks like if you go to my YouTube page just about every day. And at the end of the day, everyone always wants a belly rub. He probably likes it on its back, right? Because you don't get this texture indoors. You don't get relief art with a crow and a T-Rex in the house on cement, do ya? More Captain SpaceTime. Improv. Everything we do on this channel is improv. Smash that subscribe button and get alerts. Said TK never before. But do watch me on X.
10 years, Rebecca's granddaughter will be 18.